Hey guys, it's Burnt, and it is Sunday and it is Father's Day, so I just want to say Happy Father's Day to all the dads out there. I hope you have a great day, and please just enjoy your babies. For the single moms out there, I tip my hat to you. It is not easy raising kids by yourself, that is for sure. So kudos to you, and kudos to all the good parents that actually give a crap about their kids, because this case, these people did not and do not give a crap about anybody or anything but themselves and their mission with some felonious god that they have created all by their lonesome. So today, I'm putting this out there, and this is kind of like new to me news. I'm sure a lot of y'all are aware of these things, but nonetheless, I found it interesting, and I have found an article. So this article, it is from March 10th, 2020, and it is from Deseret News. Daybell has made national headlines over the last few months as a new husband of Valo, the mother of two missing Idaho children in that case that swept the nation. We know all this. In the past, Chad Daybell made headlines for his work as a sexton in Utah cemeteries, according to the Deseret News. Daybell dug graves while he was a student at Brigham Young University. He said he believed digging graves helped him get through school. Daybell later worked as a sexton in Springville. His duties included grave digging and keeping things tidy. A sexton of a cemetery is often the caretaker of the cemetery. They are tasked with taking care of and maintaining the area as well as grave digging. Daybell says he didn't see his job as glamorous, but he told Deseret News a 4-year-old visitor referred to him as the sexy one. That is so strange of a statement, and it is just one of many strange statements to come. Daybell continues, taking care of the graves is so rewarding, as well as helping widows and grieving family members deal with the trauma. How funny is that? He continues, sad times are always when you have to bury the babies. That's always a poignant moment. He seems real broken up about burying children there, don't he? What a piece of crap. Daybell wrote about his experiences in a nonfiction book titled 1 Foot in the Grave, Secrets of a Cemetery Sexton. The book is available on Amazon. Briefly, there is a massive petition currently. This article is old, but there's a petition right now to have his books removed. Hopefully, they succeed and get it removed. I will post a link in the description box, so if you want to go sign this petition, you can feel free. I've already signed it. The book entails a coffin-chasing cow, a rock band with boorish graveside manners, and Miss Robinson, whose legs preceded her to the grave. Each chapter gives a behind-the-scenes look at a different aspect of being a sexton, including cemetery blunders, meddling spirits, bizarre events, and efforts to outfox the Grim Reaper. Written in a humorous, tongue-in-cheek style, this collection of the author's actual graveyard adventures is curiously uplifting. You won't want to put it down or ever forget. This was the, description of the book. The book was released in 2001, 5 years after he worked as a sexton in Springville. This is all according to his website. Once the book was complete, he realized that was a strange job, and he moved on to a different job. He certainly has less job security now, which he's incarcerated. This article's old. But the locks to his office haven't been mysteriously opened either, according to Daybell's about the author description. He told Deseret News in 2001 that cemeteries are a fertile ground for story ideas. Daybell went on to write more than 25 books, including Standing in Holy Places series. He was president of the Spring Creek Book Company, but it didn't stay that way, according to KSL Investigation. Daybell worked part-time at the Springville Cemetery from August 2008 to 2009. In 2009, Daybell became a sexton for the Spanish Fork City. If that sounds familiar, that is because that is where Kipling Davis was from and where she is believed to be buried. That is the rumor that she is buried somewhere in Spanish Fork. He said the economic downturn affected the publishing. I enjoy meeting the local citizens and helping them locate graves. I also enjoy keeping the cemetery looking nice. He was hired in May 2013 as a cemetery sexton in Springfield again before he resigned in October 2014. It is clear working as a sexton has a big part of Daybell's career. He told the Daily Herald at the time that he received a lot of questions about the job. People are really curious about why I want to do this job, Daybell told the Daily Herald. There are always the questions about how someone gets into this line of work, but I enjoy it a lot, and it has given me some pretty unique stories about cemeteries. God, this makes me sick even reading it, knowing how everything is unfolding. It says he is living through his own unique story, and then it talks about Lori and the babies, and that she faces felony charges of desertion and non-support. She married Chad Daybell 2 weeks after his wife Tammy Daybell passed away. Chad and Tammy Daybell were married for over 30 years. She died under circumstances police say may be suspicious. They are suspicious. Chad Daybell reportedly received $430,000 in life insurance after his wife died, according to East Idaho News. Chad Daybell made a significant increase to at least one of the policies right before she died. In leaked emails, Daybell to Vallow highlighted the couple's 7 missions to accomplish together, which included translating ancient records, writing a book about it, identifying locations in Arizona for white camps. So I looked into this white camps and tried to see what I could pull from it, and this is what I got from Reddit. In his book, white camps were for the people who left immediately when asked by church to leave and leave everything behind and go to the camps. The blue camps were for people who left later and they had less supplies and they were in essence downgraded camps. That's what I could pull, to see what the white camps meant. 2 weeks after Tammy died, Chad wrote an essay titled "Moving On to My Second Half of My Life." And he says that this is what Tammy said he would have 2 parts of his life, and, he was about to implement, her wishes. It's always, well, I met you, I was married to you in a previous life, or Tammy said this, or Tammy's mother gave a cryptic message from the grave to the family. This Daybell is really insane, and unfortunately, these people around him drank the Kool-Aid, and it is just completely awful. So that's pretty much it from the article. I thought it was crazy, his statements about burying the babies and how he tends to the grieving widows. That was a very rewarding part of his job. It's just crazy to me. People will tell you who they are if you are willing to listen. And the more I dig, this guy is like mayor of Crazyville and has been for a very long time. He has been practicing this felonious religion that he has created. Yes, it may have started with the LDS, Latter-day Saints, but this is a whole nother brand of crazy. And anybody that is going to sit around and talk about their kids and zombies and you got to, kill the bad out of them for the spirit to be released, that's crazy talk. He's tore his whole family apart. He's probably murdered his wife. There's so much devastation. All right, guys, let's move into this probable cause affidavit. I'm not going to read all of it. I'm just going to read certain parts, but I will link the PDF in the description box, and let's just get through it. I'm going to start at portion 8. Lori Vallow's close friend Melanie Gibb has cooperated with Idaho and Arizona law enforcement regarding the investigation of the children. Melanie Gibb has reported from September 19, 2019 through the morning of September 23, 2019, she visited Lori Vallow at her new residence in Rexburg, Idaho. Gibb reports that when she arrived in Rexburg, Lori Vallow informed her that J.J. Vallow had become a zombie. Gibb further reports that the term zombie refers to an individual whose mortal spirit has left their body, and their body is now a host of another spirit. The new spirit in a zombie is always considered a dark spirit. While the dark spirit inhabits the host's body, the person's true spirit goes into limbo and is stuck there until the host body is physically killed. As such, death of the physical body is seen as the mechanism by which the body's original spirit can be released from limbo. This belief is told to Gibb by Lori Vallow. Lori Vallow had learned it from Chad Daybell and immediately told Gibb. Gibb was present with Lori Vallow when Chad Daybell first taught Lori this information over the phone in early 2019 in reference to Charles Vallow. 9. Melanie Gibb has further informed me that Lori Vallow called Tylee a zombie in the spring of 2019. Gibb was on the phone with Lori and heard Lori call Tylee a zombie, to which Tylee responds, "Not me, Mom." This arose of Lori requiring Tylee to babysit JJ. Tylee did not want to. Lori Vallow also told Gibb that Tylee had turned into a zombie when she was around 12 or 13, which was approximately the same time Tylee had become difficult to deal with. So this is insane to me. Anybody with children, teenagers, that's normal. You may want to call it a zombie-like behavior, but it's typical. Teenagers are not pleasant. They can be atrocious at times. Right there for me, Melanie Gibb should have threw a red flag. I'm sorry. That's my opinion. If one of my close friends come to me and says, "Hey, you know what? My kid is acting like a zombie," I am not going to just sit there and say, "Well, you know what? That's awful. I just, we have to take care of this." I really question a lot of Melanie Gibbs. What the hell was she doing? Not being forthcoming with all these red flags. That's just my opinion. Let's move on. This is Article 10. Melanie Gibb has further informed me that she was told by Chad Daybell and Lori Vallow that they held the religious belief that they were part of the Church of the Firstborn, and their mission in that church was to lead the 144,000 mentioned in the book of Revelations. They also stated their mission was to get rid of the zombies of the world. I'm so glad they're locked up currently in this climate. They would probably be out just stabbing people at random. Anyways, let's move on. This is 11. On September 26, a search warrant was served on Chad Daybell and Lori Vallow in Kauai, where they were living, and for their vehicles. The children were not found with Lori or Chad in Hawaii, and there's no evidence to suggest that Chad and Lori had the kids there, ever. So I'm going to go down to 14, and the cellular analysis survey team, which is called CAST. So if y'all hear me say CAST, that's what I'm talking about, and this is just a survey team that, forensically digest cell phone, any digital information, and they assist law enforcement with it. So from here on out, it's going to be called CAST. It's going to be important here in a minute. So if you download the PDF, it's going to go into a lot of detail about different locations, different pings, but I'm just going to read you the bulk and the gist of it because it's long. Through the investigation, the Rexburg Police Department and FBI have seized, searched, and analyzed multiple cellular devices. This is 19, by the way. Several warrants. On June 1st, 2020, I was informed by Special Agent Ricky Wright of the FBI that the FBI had examined the phone believed to be owned by Tamara Tammy Daybell. Tammy was Chad's wife, who died in October 19th, 2019. The FBI found a text conversation between Tammy and her husband, Chad Daybell, on September 9th, 2019, which is the day after the last known sighting of Tylee Ryan in Yellowstone Park. This text conversation goes as follows, and this is 20. Chad to Tammy at 11:53 a.m. Well, I've had an interesting morning. I felt I should burn all the limbs and debris by the fire pit before it got too soaked by the coming storms. While I did so, I spotted a big raccoon along the fence. I hurried and got my gun, and as he was walking along. I got close enough, and one shot did the trick. He is now in our pet cemetery fun times. Chad to Tammy, 11:56. Gonna shower now and go right for a while at BYU. Love you. Tammy to Chad, 2:47 p.m. Good for you. Chad to Tammy, 2:48. I'm back home now. 21. I found the text suspicious because raccoons are normally nocturnal animals and they are not regularly out during the day. It should be noted that from the interviewing neighbor of Chad Daybell, we are aware that mid-July of 2019, Garth Daybell, Chad's son, told their neighbors that Chad had shot a raccoon out of the tree of their property during the day. Those neighbors are named Matt and Regan Price. Garth told Matt Price about the raccoon in response to the question Matt had about hearing a gunshot. The Prices informed that the fire pit in the backyard of the Daybell property was hardly ever used until the last few months. Regan informed me that there appeared to be frequent bonfires in the pit on the Daybell property over the last few months, and the first one she noticed was soon after Tammy's death on October 19th, 2019. 22. On June 2nd, 2020, Detective Bruce Mattingly of Fremont County Sheriff's Office contacted Samantha Williams, who is the sister of Tammy Daybell. He asked her if she was aware of a pet cemetery on Chad and Tammy's property in Idaho. She informed him that she was aware of the pet cemetery and stated that both her and Tammy were pet people and that they both had pet cemeteries. When asked the location of the pet cemetery on the Daybell property, she stated it was east of the Red Barn near the fire pit. On June 4th, 2020, I spoke with Samantha, and she informed me that she was aware of the location of the pet cemetery on the Daybell property. Tammy had shown it to her. Samantha was then shown an aerial photograph of the Daybell property, and she pointed to the same area near the fire pit where Alex Cox's phone pinged on September 9th, 2019. 23. The above facts established that Alex Cox appeared to be at the Daybell property on September 9th, 2019 until at least 11:39. Chad sent the text to Tammy about bringing debris and shooting and burying the raccoon in the pet cemetery. Only 14 minutes later, at 11:53, the pet cemetery referenced by Chad Daybell is located at the same location as most of the pings on Alex Cox's phone on September 9th, 2019. On June 3rd, 2020, I interviewed Melanie Gibb and her boyfriend, David Warwick, in Pleasant Grove, Utah. We discussed in depth the weekend of September 22nd, 23rd in 2019. Due to the fact that both Gibb and Warwick stayed at Lori Vallow's residence in Rexburg that weekend, Gibb informed me, consistent with information she has previously given to law enforcement, that she arrived in Rexburg September 19th, 2019. Soon after she arrived, Vallow informed Gibb that JJ had become a zombie and pointed out his behaviors, such as sitting still and watching TV, claiming JJ said that he loved Satan and was increasingly vocabulary and evidence that JJ was now a zombie. Gibb observed JJ's behavior and felt that it was to be the same as she had always observed it. 25. The last time Gibb and Warwick verifiably saw JJ was the night of September 22nd, 2019. Warwick informed us that it was late and that Gibb, Vallow, and Warwick were going to do a podcast. Warwick said that JJ was acting up, so Alex Cox took JJ to his apartment in the complex. When Alex returned later that night, he was carrying JJ, who appeared to be asleep, with his head on Alex's shoulder. Warwick specifically remembered this because he saw it as a tender moment. Warwick further informed us that when he woke in the morning of September 23, 2019, he asked Lori where JJ was. This was between 8 and 9 a.m. Lori informed Warwick and Gibb that JJ had been acting like a zombie and had been crawling on the kitchen cabinetry and had gotten on top of the cabinetry in the space between the cabinetry and the ceiling. She informed Warwick and Gibb that JJ had climbed up on the cabinetry and he knocked over a picture of Jesus off of the refrigerator. Vallow then informed Warwick and Gibb that Alex had come and taken JJ. The FBI cast team, this is 27, the FBI cast team has analyzed Alex Cox's movement of the morning of September 23, 2019 by his cell phone GPS. At 9:55, Alex is again on Chad Daybell's property. He was there until 10:12. The pings on his phone located Alex near the pond on Chad's property at the northern edge of his property. 28. On June 3, 2020, I asked Special Agent Ricky Wright of the FBI to analyze the frequency of Alex Cox's visits to the Daybell property during the month of September 2019. Per your request, I checked the visits by Alex Cox to Chad's house again. There were only 4 visits by Alex during the month of September. These were on 9/6, 9/9, 9/23, and 9/25. During the 2 visits on 9/6 and 9/25, all the pings were in and around the house, and there were no pings anywhere in the backyard near the fire pit or pond. As you can see, these visits were also short, about 11 minutes and 17 minutes. Like the one on 9/23, 17 minutes. The visit on 9/9 was the only long visit, approximately 2.5 hours. 29. On June 9th, 2020, a search warrant was executed at the Daybell residence and the property with the assistance of the local FBI ERT team. We located at least multiple sites of interest. These sites were identified and corresponded to the cellular data from Alex Cox's phone when he was on the property mentioned in paragraphs 12 through 16. 30. Additionally, one of the possible sites correlated to the location on the property Chad had texted his wife about, mentioned in paragraphs 17 through 18. The first site of interest was located on the north side of the pond near the edge of the property. This site corresponded with the 2 GPS pings from Alex Cox's phone on September 23, 2019. A patch of ground was located that appeared to be disturbed. The weed growth on top of the disturbed ground was shorter than the surrounding weed growth. What appeared to be sod etching was also noticed. This disturbed area was approximately 4 feet by 2.5 feet. Members of the FBI ERT team removed the top layer of sod. Underneath the layer of sod were several large flat rocks. The rocks were removed and 2 pieces of flat paneling were found. The paneling was removed and investigators exposed a round object covered in black plastic. 33. Upon exposing the round object covered in black plastic, a strong odor was noticed. An FBI ERT member used a small, sharp instrument and made a small incision in the plastic and a layer of white plastic was observed. An incision was made into the white layer of plastic, exposing what appeared to be human remains, the crown of a head covered with light brown hair. 34. The remaining dirt around this object was methodically removed, exposing what appeared to be the body wrapped in black plastic. The plastic appeared to be tightly wrapped around the body and secured with gray duct tape. 35. Cheryl Anderson, Associate Professor of Anthropology at Boise State University, was present on the scene and advised the remains found near the pond appeared to be human. 36. The second site of interest was located behind the red unattached outbuilding located roughly in the center of the property near a fire pit. Next to the fire pit is an area used as a pet cemetery. This site correlated to several GPS pings of Alex Cox's phone on September 9, 2019. 37. Ground in this area was probed with a steel pole, and several areas of disturbed ground were located. During the search of this ground, a buried cat and dog remains were found, and a backhoe was used to dig further layers of the dirt. While doing this, bricks were located approximately a foot below the ground. Once the bricks were discovered, the soil was examined, and what appeared to be 2 bones were located. Based on the condition of the bones, Cheryl Anderson was not able to determine whether the bones were human. 39. Methodically, the dirt in this area was searched, and several other items of interest were found, including other bones, charred tissue, and charred bones. Cheryl Anderson indicated these additional bones were charred and uncharred, and tissue found were human remains. 40. Investigators provided photos of some of the partial remains that were found at the pet cemetery. Sarah Gitz, PhD forensic anthropologist, Dr. Gitz, was able to identify those remains as being non-adult human remains. 41. While officers were conducting their search, Chad Daybell was observed by officers to be continuously watching where officers were searching. He was observed watching officers while sitting in his vehicle in front of the driveway and while sitting in his vehicle across the street from his daughter's residence. 42. Around the time the head mentioned in paragraph 32 and 33 was discovered, Chad Daybell was observed leaving his daughter's residence in a gray SUV. I and other officers pursued him in police vehicles, conducted a traffic stop, and detained him due to the fact that human remains were found on his property. Alright guys, that's it for Daybell's property. There is another probable cause affidavit, but this one is for Lori, and a lot of it's handled when they was in Hawaii, and it goes into more detail. The only thing I really pulled away from this was Melanie Pulowski visited in Hawaii, and maybe I'll do a deep dive into this one, but anyways, that's the affidavit. So, in essence, it says that Tylee was burned and dismembered, and that she was separate from JJ, and he was wrapped and duct taped, and that they were able to put Alex Cox at the scene where these remains are on Mr. Daybell's property. Meanwhile, their POS mom is just smiling it up. Everything is a joke to her. I hope she never sees the light of day again. I hope Chad Daybell never sees the light of day again. And, we got to do better. Like, people will tell you who they are. Somebody should have been screaming from the rooftops when she was talking about the kids were zombies. And, they just got to kill the bad out of them. That's crazy talk. Maybe I'm being too harsh. I understand, well, I hear the cult culture, brainwashing, and I know there's a lot that goes into it, and I don't know, Melanie Gibb just kind of rubs me the wrong way, and now you see her everywhere. She's doing all these interviews. I guess, I don't know. I'm just going to say a prayer for all of them, and I know this video is long, and anyways, y'all have a great day. Comment down below. Let me know what you think. I'm sure I left some stuff out, but I thought that article was really telling. I'm sure, a lot of y'all are already aware of it, but I thought it was interesting and disgusting at the same time. Say some prayers for the families. Y'all have a good one. Like, share, and subscribe.